Now, with that being said, we do have YouTube, we do have Facebook, we do have LinkedIn, we have a Twitter. So we'll make sure that everyone gets emails to all those different things that you can subscribe and follow us on. And again, we're going to randomly pick some people here and there and send out some gift cards as you guys subscribe. Now, Tech Thursday, a great chance for you to interact with Infrascale and talk to us about what's going on, ask us questions, get to meet interesting people that work within the company. Let's go ahead and jump over to the agenda. Today's interesting person is Alexey G. He's one of our product owners. And I say product owners, he owns a ton of products, and we'll talk a little more about that when we get around to talking to him. We also had an update for ICB and DRAS that came out this week. So 2 of our 3 products got upgrades or an update to them. We'll look into what's in the update, how do we find out about it, and then how do we actually do those updates. And then we're going to jump into the Infrascale dashboard. So we're going to look at dashboard.infrascale.com and some of the powerful tools that it has built into it. Right? It's a multi-level management tool, so it's very easy for us to manage partners, customers, set up alerting, set up administration, so multiple accounts, set up ransomware detection, and we'll give you some tips and tricks around other things that you can monitor that are kind of newer to the dashboard. Now, without any hesitation, let's go ahead and jump into chit-chatting with Alexey G. Alexey, you out there?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Alexey Goncharuk, and I am a product owner here at Infrascale. I have joined the company more than 6 years ago and have been working in support department and then moved to product department. Prior to Infrascale, I have been working as a head of support in different organizations in financial and television market.
So I came out of support, and I know that when I was in support, I got a lot of complaining from customers about stuff that was wrong. Do you think that that's kind of giving you an edge, and being a product owner is hearing a lot of the complaints from the customers?
Well, being the product owner is, in order to be a product owner, you have to be in contact with the customer, know his needs, and that's a perfect thing for a support person. So, yeah, I agree with that.
Excellent. So, as a product owner, what is it that you do?
Okay, so product owners basically are a center of every development cycle. But what exactly are they doing? The primary goal of a product owner is represent the customer to the development team. And the key activity of product owner is to manage and make visible the product backlog, which is the prioritized list of requirements for the future product changes. So, in fact, product owner is the only person who can change the order of the items in the product backlog. And because of that, product owner must be available to the development team at all times in order to answer any questions team members might have in regards to how the certain feature should be implemented from the customer's point of view. And that's another reason why this role has relationships and responsibilities outside of the local team, including working with company management, product management, support, sales, marketing, customers, and other stakeholders.
So if we've got someone here on the call right now and they got a great idea for a feature, an update or something, you know, they can definitely reach out to the sales team and we can hook you up with Alexey. We can reach out support also has a path back to Alexey to be able to get him involved. And I believe earlier when we talked, you said you're happy to talk with partners and customers and get their input. Is that accurate?
Exactly. So due to nature of my role, I'm highly interested in knowing everything about what our customers and partners think about the product. So anything, what they like about our product, what they would like to see in the product, how they use it, anything. So as you said, there are two ways of set up a communication with me. One with support, through support, when support guys can relay feature requests to me. And another way is to through account manager, who can help to set up a meeting with me where I will be happy to hear anything about our product, any ideas. And rest assured that all the feature requests that I hear are ending up in our backlog. So eventually we'll implement them one way or another.
So and we are doing a new kind of form of roadmaps where we're more agile to move stuff around and bump features up as they're needed, and kind of, is that accurate?
Yeah, we review our roadmap every quarter and reprioritize the items in it, so that there is a good chance that some feature that has not been implemented for a long time eventually get into the development cycle. Okay, so what are the products that I am managing? These are two of our three main products: Infrascale Cloud Backup, ICB, and ICAB, which is Infrascale Cloud Application Backup. In addition to that, I am managing dashboard-related things, and since the dashboard is a single pane of glass for managing all our products, some items related to Infrascale disaster recovery are also falling into my responsibility area. And in addition to that, everything related to integration with third-party systems, such as ConnectWise Manage or Automate or Autotask PSA, is also in my responsibility. So whenever you would like to add something or discuss anything about these systems, please feel free to reach out to me.
Excellent, excellent. So, yeah, it sounds like you've got a full workload there. You basically have 4 different things you're managing. You've got our direct-to-cloud, our cloud application, the dashboard, which is the thing we're going to spend the majority of this time today talking about, is the dashboard and all the cool features it has, being multi-level and ransomware alerting and all that kind of stuff. And then you also handle those integrations. So if you guys, if anyone's using ConnectWise or Autotask, we do have built-in integrations with those, and we'll show you a little bit about those when we jump into the demo section here on going over the dashboard. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into our next topic, which is what's in those updates. So if we look here, we can see that we have 2 different updates that came out. We have an update for our cloud backup product, and we have an update for our disaster recovery or our IDR solution. Now at the bottom you can see the versions that came out. That's, you know, kind of important. And then you can also see the release date when they came out. Now when we push out updates, we don't force everyone to update all at the same time, right? So we give you the options on when you want to update things. Now, the big thing about an update is, do I need it? Is this something that I need for my business? Am I experiencing a problem? So let's go ahead and take a look at docs.infrascale.com. And this is definitely something you guys should write down. I'll go ahead and throw it in the chat so it's easy for you to click on. Oh. I said I would throw it in the chat, and then the chat is hiding. I blame the new version of GoToMeeting. All right, I will find the chat for GoToMeeting in a second and drop it into the chat for you guys. Oh, there it is. All right, so the first link was the YouTube. Again, go there, click subscribe, click on the notifications, all that standard stuff that people say when they're live streaming data. Hit the notification bell. and we're definitely going to throw out some prizes. The second one down there is docs.infrascale.com. So docs.infrascale.com. Now, if we take a look at docs.infrascale.com right here, this is going to give us access to everything we'd ever want to know about any of the Infrascale solutions. So not only IDR, or cloud backup, or cloud application backup, or the dashboard, or the integrations, or even APIs for developers, that information's out there for you. Let's go ahead and click on Disaster Recovery, Release Notes, 8.x, and now we can see on July 7th, these are all the things that were released within that update for 8.1. Now, what do we have going on there? We've got some updates to the disaster recovery engine. Definitely important for pulling out those physical machines back into our servers. We've got updates on replication. So we've tuned some of the default options to be more efficient. And we've also looked at some issues where we ran into where maybe high replication rates cause some slowdowns. We added in the ability to do a DNS server within your boot and orchestration. Now we'll take a look at that because that's a really cool option. Monitoring and reporting, we've updated stuff in VMware. If anyone wants to throw in the chat what CBT stands for, that'd be awesome. I feel like most of the people on this call might know. Some people might not know what that abbreviation's for. We've updated the user interface, and then just some random updates out there that were good for the product, including the old retention settings and the ability to see or actually use SMB2 instead of SMB1, which by now has been outdated in security means. So no one should really be using SMB1 yet anymore. It's pretty much been done with. Now, with that being said, we also here have the ability to go in and look at cloud backup and its release notes. So here we can see what was released in that most recent version on July 7th. So again, great place for you guys to go to, docs.infrascale.com. Pay attention to it. You know, maybe you had some issues like this last one, where backing up to a USB drive would sometimes fail. Well, we've addressed that. So that's been updated in this newest version. Now, the more important question is, all right, what's in the update? How do I update? How do I get the latest version of stuff onto my devices? Now, we've actually made that really easy for everyone. We come over here and we look. On the left side, I have a screenshot from disaster recovery. So if we're logged into the appliance and we go ahead and click for an update, we're going to see this. It's going to tell us what version we're running, when the last check was, what's the latest version. We hit install, reboot, and we're good to go. It's going to automatically update that appliance that you've got locally. And then it's going to update the appliance that you have running in the cloud. So it's a one-click upgrade. Now on the right side, cloud backup. So what if I'm running cloud backup? Well, here we can see when we go in and look at the devices, we have a column with the backup version. So anything that's not running 7.8, something we should probably update. And then we can just right-click on that, or we can click on that blue square with the sprocket on the right and tell it we want to update that application. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some other options we have for doing this. So if we come in here and we say we want to manage DR sites and appliances, that's going to show me all my appliances I have out there. Now right here I can see that this one's got an update, and it's telling me there's a firmware update available. So even from here we can manage that. I can check on if there's multiple over here and do a mass action to update all the firmware. Or I could go into that individual one that I want, and I can tell it I want to update that primary appliance. So we've got a couple ways to update that firmware. Now when I say update the primary appliance, what's awesome is it's going to update that primary appliance, and then it's going to automatically update that secondary appliance for me. Now one tip and trick I'd like to throw out there when we're updating appliance, you can't have anything running on top of the appliance. So if you have anything booted on the appliance, it's not going to do it for you. It's going to give you an error and tell you that there was something running, and we do that. You know, we don't want to shut down something that you might be running off of. Maybe someone else, there was a machine that crashed and they booted it up, and now that's the new production box. We don't want to automatically shut that down, reboot the appliance, and cause an outage. So one thing you should definitely do, and this is what I do before ever I update my appliances, is I log in, make sure I shut everything down, and then I go ahead and do the updates. Now let's look at updating the devices. So again, we come in here and we're going to go ahead and say devices. So this is going to show us our ICAB ones that are out there and running. And right now we can see that nothing's actually running the latest version. All I've got to do is come over here and tell it I want to update the application. Or I can click over here and do a mass update and then update all of them. Now anything that's got the green dot here, it's going to go ahead and update those immediately because those are connected. So one thing we definitely want to do is we want to make sure if we run this update, we're not doing it during business hours. Or not necessarily business hours, during backup hours. Now that does bring me to one tip I like to bring up a lot because it's one that's bit me more than once, is when we're backing up using cloud backup, well, we're backing up desktops and laptops and endpoints and iPhones and stuff like that. So we probably want to make sure that we're backing those up during hours that that device is turned on. Now, I come from an enterprise backup background where we backed up everything at midnight or 1 a.m. or whenever the least amount of people were using that resource. That does not work out well here. So if I try and back up Kelly's laptop at midnight, well, it's probably turned off because she's gone home, she's hanging out with her wife or her husband and her kid, and probably shut down her laptop. So we definitely want to make sure that when we're doing these backups, we're doing them during business hours or during hours where that device would be turned on. Now the next thing that we want to talk about, and it's great because we're already up in this dashboard, is the dashboard. Now, one of the things in my 20 years in being in this industry is I've never seen a place where we have a unified dashboard like this. So this dashboard allows you to manage all of the Infrascale products, all of your companies that you manage, all of the backup accounts that are under those companies. So as we look here, we get a great view of everything that's going on. We can see all of the partners, all the companies, all the backup accounts, all the errors, all the data that's being protected, how many servers and licenses and accounts we have out there. Now, when I say manage different things, let's take a look at our partner level. So our partner level is probably the most common level that people get access to. So let's log in as a partner. Now here we log in as this partner. Now at this dashboard level, we can see specifically what we've got out there as far as companies and backup accounts. Now, what is a company? As you onboard someone, regardless of what solution they're going to use, you're going to create a company account for them, right? It's just a great way to organize things. So let's say we're going to create one here. We'll say we're going to manage companies. Now here we can say we're going to create a company. Now when we're creating a company, we have two different ways to create them. One, we can create a backup admin account. So if we're giving them cloud backup, that's a great option to have enabled. But if we're just selling them IDR or our disaster recovery solution, they might not necessarily need that direct-to-cloud account. So we don't need to create it. So here we're going to go ahead and create it. Now here we can go ahead and put in the name. We can put in the quota we want to assign them. So say we're going to give them 100 gigabytes. We're going to say it's managed. What's great about being managed or unmanaged is if it's managed as a reseller or as a partner or as an MSP, you're able to actually go in there and help recover their data for them. Now, if I uncheck this as managed, I'm just going to get a report that says how much data they're using. Now, that's great for different compliances that we have out there. But as far as, it's really up to how you want to manage those customers. Do you want to control and be able to help recover data for them? Or do you want them to manage this solution on their own and you're just selling it to them? Now here we put in the name, the email, the username, and then the password. Now with the username, I definitely do recommend trying to keep that with the email address. It does make things a lot easier to manage, but it's not a requirement. You can create whatever username you want for that company. Put in a password here. Now they can easily reset that password if they need to. Now at the bottom we've got a couple of different options, right? We've got is ultra safe or is ultra safe. What that allows us to do is to say, all right, when this customer backs up their data, we're going to encrypt that data on the device, send it up to the Infrascale cloud. Now, what's great about that is it's encrypted at the device. Infrascale cannot see that data. You cannot see that data. Only the person who created that passphrase has access to see and recover that data. So again, compliance. If they need to make sure that no one can see or access their data, UltraSafe is amazing, and this is a way to face or force them to do that. Now the next one is do not send the welcome email. I like to call this one of my features. It's something I asked for. So if you want to go out and set up a bunch of accounts ahead of time, you can do that and say, all right, don't send them the welcome email. Don't let them know that they have access yet. I want to be there in person, introduce them, and show them how it all works. And then last but not least is enable ICAB. So enabling ICAB enables you to be able to allow for the direct backup of like Office 365, Box, Dropbox, SharePoint, G Suite, any of those cloud applications. So this is one of two places you can enable that cloud application backup. Now, one of the things we want to look at is, all right, so we've created these companies. We have them here, and we can see those. Now, what are some extra things that we can do with those? Or what about with, say, doing a partner here? So we'll log back in at the top level. I'm going to say Manage Partners. I'm going to choose Bailey Joe Consulting. Now, when I try and log into Bailey Joe Consulting, it's telling me I'm not authorized, right? So I need a security code. So let me click on Get a Security Code. I'll pull up my handy-dandy iPhone. I'm going to get a text. Now, no one's going to write this down, correct? And now that's going to let me log in. So that's an example of multi-factor authentication. And now we can see that it's actually been rebranded up here. Bailey Joe Consulting. It's got different colors. If we actually go over here and we look at settings and we look at rebranding, we're going to see everything down from Cloud Backup has been rebranded to the portal that you actually log into. Now, when we take a look at something like this, We'll come back out and we'll go into Infrascale demo account here. And then we'll come up here and we'll look at settings. We'll look at multi-factor authentication. So we got a simple checkbox, but when we check it, now we have a bunch of options. We can do it based off of company, user. We can do email, SMS. And down at the bottom, it warns us, hey, if you've created users and you didn't give them an email address or a phone number, they might not be able to log in. So make sure that you have all of your contacts and everything under administration set up correctly with email addresses and phone numbers. Otherwise, they might not be able to log back in. Now, we are bringing a next level of multi-factor authentication. That's going to be a kind of a universal supplier. So we'll be able to use multiple multi-factor authentication systems to be able to log into this, and then also enable it individually at the user level. Now, with that being said, one thing that I think is awesome is if we take a look here, we can see that we're at a partner and there's different companies underneath us. If I come in here and I go to Settings, Monitoring, I can see that monitoring is not currently enabled at this partner level. Now I can enable it at the partner level. So if you wanted to get monitoring on all the companies that are underneath you, plus yourself, you can easily turn that on. But say maybe you had a customer, we'll say the Orlando office here. You can log in as that Orlando office. Now again, we're only going to see the accounts represented by that. Now when I come up here and I go over to monitoring, we're going to see that monitoring is set up and configured, and it's sending me all that monitoring data. So Chris Bayne at Infrascale.com, I'm getting all these different alerts, whether it's from ICAB or ICB or DRAS. I'm also getting alerts around ransomware. Now that's something important we'll pause here and talk about for 1 second, is around ransomware. It's something we include in the product. This allows me to say, all right, what's my level of paranoia? How many files do I want to see changed or created before I get alerted that there's a potential ransomware infection going on? Now again, we can configure this at the company level, at the partner level, at both levels. And we're also going to scan for known types of files associated with ransomware. So it's important, to be able to have that set up, to be able to have different levels of alerting and different people you're alerting based on the partner level where you're managing everything, or maybe you've got some technical customers that you want to allow them to be able to see their own information, their own alerting. Now let's go ahead and go up to this top level. Now at the top level, I'm going to come down, or actually I'm just going to come over to Settings and go to Administration. This is another feature I don't think a lot of people know about. Now we can set up administration. So say you have that one user you get, and this is the typical kind of user account we send out, right? You with some numbers, with some WS at the end, and it's hard to remember. Well, you can actually set up your own user accounts with your own user names, email addresses, access levels. So when you actually create a user, you can come in and control what they're allowed to access. So maybe you just want someone to manage your cloud backup, or just your IDR, or something like that. You can come in and manage all of that individually. So if you have a larger organization, it's really easy to come in here and set it up so that individual people can manage certain things, but not everything. Now let's look at some extra stuff that's in here that has been added recently that I'm not sure everyone knows about. Let's come in here and we look under monitoring endpoints. We're going to be able to see that now we've got some extra information. We can see the last backups and what was successful and what failed. The most recent version of a cloud and a local restore point. We can also see those screenshot verifications that traditionally we'd have to go into the appliance and take a look at. Now we can see them up here while we're managing stuff. So it's really easy for you as a partner to come in and take a look at all the different screenshots that are going on across the appliances and make sure that all those images are bootable without having to log into each individual one or check each individual email coming out from those appliances. Now this last cloud restore point is something we have had a lot of requests for. So it's really great to be able to see that. Now you can see, all right, so for this customer, for this server, all right, the last restore point's from the 4th. We might need to look into that. And if we look into that, I know what happened. I shut that machine down because I'm reorganizing my lab at home. So it's been down for the past couple of days. But here we can see on the more recent ones, well, I've got a restore point from today. So I'm good to go. Another thing we have here is appliance hardware. Now, appliance hardware is awesome. That's going to let you see all the appliances that you have across the board, how much CPU they're using, memory, RAID, the RAID status, and then replication. So if I look at this top one, Drax, I can see my CPU is good, my memory is good. RAID usage is 30%, that's not bad. Oh, it's in a degraded state. So I need to definitely do something about that. Now, typically, if that's in the cloud situation, Infrascale will take care of that. But if that's a local situation, we can get notified and ship out drives, but you're going to need to switch out those drives and get it back into a non-degraded state. And here we can even see replications idle. It's not configured here. And then these are machines that I have shut down, so they're not replicating. They're currently offline. Now we do have the option to see cloud application backup. So we can see the successes, the completed, the warnings, the faileds. Now, when we talk about cloud application backup, that is one thing I want to bring up again. I brought it up last time. I just want to bring it up again and show you. If we come in here and we say manage cloud application backup, over here we can see the usage stats. Now that's going to become important because this is a pay-as-you-go service. So this is going to let you see what you're going to be charged for as you go. So if you're ever curious, you can log in here and take a look and say, all right, well, we have 5 megabytes on OneDrive. We have 5 Exchange accounts, and be able to diagnose what's going on and what you're going to be billed for based on what you're protecting. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and we've got 10 minutes left. I'm going to open it up for questions. I know typically we have a good amount of questions that come in. So I'm going to open it up to questions and see if we've got any out there. You can choose to unmute yourself and ask a question verbally, or throw it in the chat if you're shy and just want to be anonymous and ask that question. So I see that I do have a question in, and I believe Alexey's still on the phone. I might need his help for this one. I'm not 100% sure, but I will give my answer. So when alerts come into the dashboard, the alerts that come into the dashboard are coming in from the local time from the device that sent the alert. So you're going to see those alerts at the appropriate time for the device that sent the alert. Now, if we go in and we look at something like monitoring, and we want to send out scheduled email alerts. Those scheduled alerts, here where we say 8 p.m., that is going to be based off Central Mountain Time. So the local alerting is going to be based off the device, but if you have any reports set up, that's going to be based off of Mountain Time. All right, I do see another question coming in. Yes, so this is absolutely recorded, and the recording is going to be one on Facebook, YouTube, and then we're going to edit it and put another copy on YouTube. So it's definitely out there and available for you in multiple formats. And coming soon in the future, I'm hoping to have it on LinkedIn also. Now, one thing I do want to bring up and talk to you guys about is the fact that all the previous Tech Thursdays are out there. So if we take a look at YouTube and we look at the Infrascale page and we subscribe to the Infrascale page so we can get free goodies and get alerted anytime something happens. Web with me. Here we go. Now, one of the things we can do is go to playlists. And then we have Tech Tips, Webinars, and Tech Thursday. So Tech Thursday is going to automatically have this version up there. But here's an example of the one we had last week. The one we had last week, we had Alexey T on. So he's actually in charge. He's the VP of all of product. And then we talked in depth about the 8.0 firmware update. What's in it, how to use it. You know, there's a ton of stuff in the 8.0 update that's super useful. And we went through and we spent 42 minutes chit-chatting about that. Now, if we actually take a look at the full playlist for Tech Thursday, we've covered a bunch of topics. So definitely one of those advantages if you want to subscribe to be able to get here. If not, you can always just go to Tech Thursday playlist and find the latest and greatest information that we've got out there for you to be able to view. Again, it's every other week we're doing this. We're actually getting ready to post an agenda for the next couple of months. We're going to have our CEO on, our COO, our CPO. We're going to have all of our executives on. We're going to have a bunch more guests. We're going to have some industry specialists on. So they're not related to Infrascale, offering their third-party opinions. So we're definitely going to have a lot of new content coming up. And we're going to cover, any updates that come out from Infrascale. And we're also going to cover any trends we're seeing happening in the industry right now. So it should definitely be something to subscribe to. And hopefully we'll keep bringing you relevant content around the industry that we all work in and love. Now, with that being said, I think I see one last question coming in that we can answer, and then we'll probably close this down for the week. Again, in the invite, there is a link that says, if you have questions, click here. Click there, send out those questions, and we'll make sure that we cover them in the next Tech Thursday, especially if you have a complicated question. That'll give me some time to do some research, make sure from product, support, and everyone else involved that I'm giving you guys an honest and truthful answer. Not that I would ever not give you one, but I want to make sure that it's fully researched. And if you give me that time, I'll make sure that I can put it up there. And maybe even we can attach some kind of guide as to how to fix that issue, or some kind of polished answer on what your question was. All right, so the last question that actually came in is one I don't know the answer to. So I'll have to take a look into that. It's if we can integrate with Continuum, Command RMM. I think we can. So one of the things that we can do that's really cool is if we go back to the demo here, and we'll go back into the interface, we do have the option up here to say create an MSI package. So that's a Microsoft installer package. We can actually give it the name for the MSI. We can choose what backup policy to use. We didn't go over that this time, but we did go over that in the previous one. We can choose if we want it to be visible, if we want to automatically create the account based off user or device. So a lot of this you can create and then use an RMM tool or even a global policy within Win to push it out. So typically the answer is yes, but I don't know that we have any direct integration with them. Oh, speaking about integrations, I did skip a topic I wanted to talk about, so I'll jump back real quick. We do have integration with ConnectWise, Manage and Automate, and AutoTask. So we can integrate with billing, ticketing, pretty much anything you want to. It's going to use the usage stats from our site and plug it into theirs, so it can upgrade the amount of units you should be billing customers, which is pretty awesome. That's definitely something we want to make sure we're doing, is billing our customers for what they're using. So we do have those integrations, and there is a video out there actually on YouTube showing how to set up those integrations. So if you're interested in setting them up, we do have a video currently sitting on YouTube on how to set up ConnectWise integrations. All right, guys, so it looks like we've kind of come to the end of this one. So I'm going to start shutting things down. Thanks a lot for the questions. Thanks a lot for attending. Definitely send those questions in email. If you have any questions, always, subscribe, and then maybe you'll get that gift card. So go ahead and subscribe. And when I say I'm going to have someone randomly pick, it won't be me. I'll have someone else pick who is going to be the winners of those gift cards for subscriptions to not only Facebook, but also to YouTube.